Hello, I'm Andrea from the Creative Dream Incubator, and we're going to talk about miracles today, and more specifically, miracle work, the work we do that calls in miracles. Your miracle is the thing you want that feels out of reach. So miracle work is about digging deeper into the inner work so you can expand your reach. This is how you're able to grab your miracle. Miracle work is a way of engaging with your next level of growth and healing, really moving beyond where you are today. And especially now, where we are in the world, miracle work is about meeting this intense moment with an intense commitment to discovering the truth, being with the truth, to doing your own healing work, and to looking at where you can be a part of creating positive change in yourself, in your life, and in the world around you. So miracle work is this amazing thing. Obviously, I love it. I've been doing this work full-time for the last 10 years. I live for this work. And I also can be really afraid when it comes to looking at my own next level. So what's my, what does it look like for me to go deeper? And what does my next level of healing growth look like? And what will be asked of me? And I can still get very, very nervous or afraid or full of self-doubt, or just really, really feel vulnerable about admitting to myself first what it is I want next. So what's that miracle that I'm trying to reach for that feels out of reach? So that's where I wanted to start this discussion about miracle work, in that vulnerable place of admitting to yourself what it is that you really want. And it kind of goes in tandem with making that choice to become committed to this process. So just this morning I was journaling. I journal pretty much every morning. I teach an ongoing journaling program called Dream Book, and I'm a participant in Dream Book as well. I love it. And so today what I had was, I was working with the quality of openness and the question, where am I not open to receive what I want? You see, I have lots of answers there. But at first I wrote this question down and I was just feeling like, no, I just felt this weird tightness and no, I'm pretty open. I don't really like this question. This is probably the wrong question for me for right now. And just maybe I should just skip this and go to a different page and all that kind of thing, which is just my defense mechanism. So that's the first thing that we have to face in miracle work, is that we all tend to have these defense mechanisms that want to protect us from how vulnerable it is to admit what we want. And so they're going to throw up all these different ideas about why you should just stop. So I'm going to share with you some of my answers from my journal this morning, because what happens with this defense mechanism is that we all feel alone in it, and we feel like we're the only one. So it's just everyone else can go do miracle work, and I'm not ready. I have these reasons why I can't, or this isn't going to work for me, or blah, blah, blah. Right? And it's actually a really painful place to be, when there's a part of you that really does want a thing, and then there's this other part of you that's shutting down that process of possibility. It's actually a really painful place to be. And so another thing that defense mechanism is doing is trying to protect us from our own feelings. So I'm going to read my answers, and I'd like you to think for yourself, even in your journal, write this down, where are you not open to receiving what you want right now? So my first answer, I worry that it will overwhelm me, so I shut down. That's for me, one of my go-to defense things is overwhelm. I don't want to be overwhelmed. I'm very sensitive, I'm very easily overwhelmed, so this is a really great excuse for me to use to not go deeper or look at what my next level work is, right? Next one is, I get defensive that I don't already have it, and then I want to prove that I'm fine without it. I have to see or feel that it's possible before I really open up, because I'm really afraid of getting hurt. I wouldn't want to open up to this possibility, do my best to really go for it, and then have it fail. That would be way too painful. So I'd rather stay here, kind of ignoring the fact that staying here is painful too, right? Next one is, I'm afraid to fail in public. And then even in brackets I wrote, even though I've already done this so many times. I'm afraid to face that I don't know how feeling. So for me, when I don't know how to do a thing I want to do, and that's just a universal basic truth about all dreams. Nobody knows how, right? Like that's the nature of a dream. And I know that, and I teach that, and yet I still don't like to be in that I don't know how feeling, because it can lead very quickly to panic and really feels like really big fear feelings, right? And then the last one is, I worry that it won't make me happy. I won't be able to sustain it, like maybe if I get there but I can't keep it going, and then it will threaten everything else I already have. So that's another one, what we often hold back on, what we really want, out of that fear that maybe it will destroy everything that I've already got, and I'll end up with nothing. I think journaling is one of the best tools for this work, because putting it outside of your head, oh my God, putting it on paper where you can see it. Like, you notice as I was reading some of my prompts, I was laughing because it feels kind of funny to see it outside of me, but it feels very vulnerable to have it inside of me. So when I talk about miracle work being your next level of growth and healing and having to go deeper into the inner work, this is what I mean. I mean, it can feel very uncomfortable and very vulnerable to do this. And if you're feeling uncomfortable, and if you're thinking about what you want right now and working through your feelings around it, and it's feeling uncomfortable, that's great. That means that you're doing the work. So one of the ways that I have found makes it a lot easier to engage with this work over time, and like, let's be honest, you need to be doing this work consistently over time to make like big significant changes in your life, is to use, I call it the dream compass. And this is what I teach more in depth in my dream book program. It's called Creative Dream Alchemy. So it's using the dream kind of as your North Star, guiding you towards your most authentic and meaningful and purposeful life, and guiding you towards your dream. So using that as the North Star or the guiding light, then working with everything that comes up on the path, and recognizing that you have to be doing 3 things on that path. So there's the outer work. This is what we all think of as the path, like, oh my God, I'd have to quit my job and buy my dream house and build a business, or whatever it is that you're doing. But that's only one part, right? So there's also the dream work, which is not just visioning what the dream is. That's a small part of it, but there's actually connecting with the living essence of your dream, which is connected to your purpose, your potential, your creativity, all of that great stuff. So it's kind of like your next level you, connecting with this part of you, so because that part of you knows how to walk the path, or create the path, actually is more accurate. And then the inner work, of course, which is of facing the places in you where you hold back, doing the growth and healing that you need to do in order to be able to keep taking your next step. So there's this like kind of facing all of the inner obstacles, and then in the outer work, of course, you're facing the outer obstacles and figuring out what to do about that, and you're like taking brave steps and all of that kind of thing. And so the reason why I always show it like this in a triangle is first to show there's arrows everywhere, right? So each one leads to the others. So often we all like just want to do the outer work, right? And it's like, I want to write my book, and then I want to like get it published and go on tour, and you know, just all that focus on the external things that we can see and measure. And so these arrows show that outer work can lead to inner work and dream work, and the same for each one, right? Each one leads to the others. So if you want to be doing outer work, but really inner work is the thing that's right in front of you, I find it's kind of heartening to remember, actually, it's doing the inner work is what will lead me back to be able to take my next steps with my book or my blog or whatever it is I'm doing. So like they're all connected. So in that way, that's like seeing those arrows, and that this is how the path goes. And then the second way I like to have it in a triangle is you see whatever is on top. So if outer work is on top, it's supported by dream work and inner work. So just remembering that when I'm doing these things, that's actually helping nurture and build my foundation for being able to do this thing. And that's true no matter what is on top, right? All of these things support and nurture each other and you. So bringing it back to your miracle is the thing that you want that is just out of reach. So connecting with this miracle, kind of being able to define it clearly, this is what I want. and be able to feel that, to be able to claim it unapologetically, right? That's kind of the first goal of dream work when it comes to working with your miracle. And so as I was sharing about my journaling, I'm having all sorts of ambivalence and vulnerable, uncomfortable feelings about being able to claim what I want. That's fine. That doesn't mean that I'm failing or that I haven't done the first thing. I just said this is the first thing for miracle work, is to do this dream work about like being able to claim it. So if you try to, and like me, you have all these feelings about it and can't quite say, this is what I want, that doesn't mean that you're failing. It means that right now what's up for you is inner work. So it means being with all of those feelings that come up is the path that leads to be getting to that place where I can claim, this is what I want. So if my dream is that I want to go on a cruise around the world, and now COVID has happened, so that feels impossible, but also I don't have enough money, but also I don't have time off from my job, but also my kids are in school. There's a million reasons why I can't do it, but I want it, right? So the point of dream work is not to get to a place of seeing that I can go do this thing tomorrow. The point of dream work is to be able to claim this, like I want it. And I'm willing to sit with the fact that I want this. I also actually don't want to disrupt my children's lives. I actually don't want to quit my job. I want all these things that seem to conflict with each other. So the miracle does come when we're able to be really, really present. So you need to be present with yourself, with your actual feelings, and with your actual desires, even when they conflict with each other. So sometimes we see like things conflict or it feels impossible, and so we use that as an excuse to just put it all aside. But now we are no longer present with our desires. And so we're not fully present with ourselves if we're not present with our desires. And so now we've put ourselves in a space where no miracle can find us. And I never ever mean that in a blamey way, like we're doing something wrong. This is something that I personally do every day, right? It's not a terrible thing that we're doing. We shouldn't be shaming ourselves. What we can do is notice what we're doing, be curious about it. You know, because I try to avoid my feelings every day. I also spend time every day being present and doing my best to make space for everything. Like, this is what it is to be human. Like, it's messy. And that's something I probably should have put in the little pictures about miracle work at the beginning. It's messy. It's gonna be messy. So you're gonna have conflicting feelings as a part of this process. So what we really need to do is not let the conflicting feelings throw us off track. So you can be here doing your miracle work with your fear, with your self-doubt, with your anxiety, with your freakouts, and also with the part of you who trusts, with the part of you, like your inner healer, with your inner wise person who knows how to lead you through this. Like, the answer is to be present with all of it. Okay, so anytime that we are avoiding anything in ourselves, we are pushing ourselves away from all of ourselves. Like, we can't be present. Project Miracle is a 30-day program. It's 30 days of practicing everything that I'm talking about here. So you don't have to figure out like what to do. I will handle that part. All you have to do is show up and explore. In Project Miracle, we will focus a lot on the dream work. I'll be giving you practices for connecting with the essence of your miracle and kind of acclimating with it so that your energy can be more in alignment with that miracle. But the process of doing that work brings up a lot of inner work. So the places in you where you want to hold back, where you feel you're not ready, where you're afraid. There will also be lots of practices for dealing with that, for bringing love and attention and healing to those places. So we're not going to try to zoom by them, or we're not going to try to just force ourselves like fake it till you make it or that kind of thing, which I think can be actually very violent when it comes to our inner work. We're going to meet our fears with love and just give everything space. Like, it's amazing to me. It's still amazing to me how we can call in miracles simply by giving everything space. I mean, there's a little more to it. There's a little more complex, and we'll be going deeper into it. That's why Project Miracle is a 30-day program. So each day you're showing up, you're doing your best, and kind of going deeper and deeper into it, right? So what we don't do a lot of in Project Miracle is the outer work, because everyone's outer work is different. So if you're like trying to write a book and you're really blocked, if you do this dream work and inner work practice and keep showing up, you will be making space for the outer work, and that you don't need me to show you how to do. You know how to do that. So you can, it's kind of like we're creating space to free up your creative energy so that you can go and create what you're here to create. So I'm going to show you the first journaling sheet that I give out in Project Miracle. This is the sheet that I ask you to be working on while you watch the introductory video where I explain exactly how we're going to be doing these miracle practices. And it has 4 prompts on it. I also like to put things that you can color on there, which some people hate coloring. That's completely fine. For me, I like having something to color, or I like to doodle or something like that while I'm thinking about the questions. It gives me more space and time to be with the questions. So if you like that, that's awesome. If you're not into it, that's awesome too. Like, there's no rules about how you're doing this stuff, right? So the first thing is the miracle I want is, and you really got to get into a place of being able to write it down on paper. And you don't have to be in that place on day 1 though, right? Like this, all of it is a process. Wherever you are is perfect. But if you can write it down, this is like an act of claiming it, right? And then I want it because that's a question I always ask people about their dreams, because 5 people can want to write a book, but each of them can have wildly different reasons why. And the reasons why point to what you really want to receive from this. So I don't want you to just get like an outer shell of a miracle. I want you to get the whole thing. I want you to really receive what it is you want, which is, for so many reasons, so complicated, but we can do it if you show up and do the work. Absolutely. So I want it because, and then when I have it, I will feel. That also gives you more clues about what you really want to get out of this. So how do you think you're going to feel when you have it? And of course, writing it out, being really clear on how you want to feel, actually helps you kind of open up space to feel that way now while you're creating this thing you want, which is really cool. And then our last question, what will change in my life when I have it? So what is it that you're hoping that this miracle is going to do in your life? How does it change? Who do you become? This kind of thing. So these are just the questions that I ask right at the beginning before we do the first miracle work practice, to flesh this out, to get more clear on what it is you want to create. Like, it's completely fine if it feels impossible. It's fine if your fear and doubt is bigger than your trust. That's actually just human and normal. That doesn't mean you can't do this. So this is why your miracle is never impossible. Your miracle isn't an accident. Your dream isn't an accident. The things you want are never accidents. So there is a lot going on, and like we live in a world that's I would say profoundly messed up in a lot of ways. And so we get all these weird ideas about who we are and who we're supposed to want to be and what we're supposed to want to have and what life is supposed to be all about. So what miracle work really can help do is clear out all of the bullshit, all of the stuff that's not actually yours. Just get it out of your head and help you connect more fully with your inner truth, your true self. So like, that's the real beauty and magic of taking your desires seriously. Like, that's the healing power of miracle work. It's not all in getting the thing, even though I'm a huge fan of getting the thing you want to have. There's this much richer inner process that also happens of growth and healing and kind of coming into yourself, like being who you really are in how you live your life, and then engaging in the work of getting your life, your outer life, aligned with that inner truth. I mean, for me, this is a lifetime process, because the more I do and grow, the more I find out about who I am, and then the more I want to do and create more. So really what I'm trying to say is you can trust your miracle. As I said right at the beginning, your miracle is the thing you want that feels out of reach. So the work of expanding your reach is really the work of growing in more into who you really are. Like, that's what your miracle is calling you towards. Like, that's what's so cool about this work, is that you get to be more you. It's amazing. It's a miracle, right? And I'm not going to pretend that it's easy. I mean, it means being with all of these vulnerable and scary things that come up along the way. But every time you do that, you actually make more space for your truth inside of you. And as you have more space for your truth inside of you, you see more opportunities and possibilities for how to bring that out in how you're living your life and what you're creating in the world around you. And that's what Project Miracle is all about. I invite you to join me in this work. There's more information below. Your miracle, the thing that you want that feels out of reach, that's calling you towards more of you. Like, that is just the coolest thing ever.